welcome to the show. It is Man on Markets and I'm Charles Boyd, your host. Now, whoever imagined that there will come a time when we stop paying for voice by the minute? Of course, the coming of voice bundles because of competition in the telecom market space helped us overcome that particular cost, which was very huge, by the way, for those operating businesses and those just communicating for just, as they say. Now, today, the same kind of approach is shifting into the space of data. What is happening now is intense debate on whether companies or carriers should continue charging for data or offer free data and then get money or their markups on the services that use data to reach out to customers. Now, that's the discussion happening between Econet, Google, and Facebook. We'll be discussing that and more in our subsequent shows. It is once again Man on Markets. We're glad that you're here. Now, this month, representatives from several African countries and of course the private sector and the public sector in Uganda met in Kampala to try and discuss and see a way forward on how best Africa, and in particular Uganda, can make the best of an integrated continent where markets have very limited non-tariff barriers or barriers to trade generally. Now, in this segment, we dedicate time to try and look at the opportunity that this integration presents, but then most importantly, how we can position ourselves as a country and specifically private and public sectors to take advantage of this noble initiative.
With a population of 1.3 billion people and a combined GDP of 3.4 trillion US dollars, this opportunity offers the continent and Uganda a solid base for speedy industrialization. But to achieve this, there are certain fundamentals we must put in place. This opportunity creates, it's an opportunity to increase agriculture production, industrial development, joint infrastructure development, development of regional value chains. If I may say something about joint infrastructure development. When I was at the Ministry of Finance, I moved a supplementary to support the building of our roads to DRC Congo. DRC, our trade, the trade value between DRC and Uganda is 500 million US dollars, probably the largest, with very difficult terrain of roads. So for us to be able to have even this free trade area, this joint infrastructure development is very, 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 very key. We have great depots of iron ore in southern Uganda, worth I think 1.9 billion tons. For you to process this into steel, and we are importing steel worth 300 million US dollars, you must have coal. Now coal is in southern part of Tanzania. So the issue is, do you now transport coal towards iron ore, or do you transport iron ore towards coal? So we are looking at having a joint infrastructure where you use railway from Tanga to Mwanza, and then from Mwanza to Port Bell to bring coal here, and maybe look at how you have the railway to the southern Uganda to process iron ore. So joint infrastructure, but this cannot be just made by one country. It has to be a regional infrastructure development. The current challenges in the global trade landscape that are pushing for protectionism, especially by the effects of COVID-19 pandemic, have adversely affected the global economic outlook. According to the IMF World Economic Outlook report of October 2021, the global economy is projected to grow by 5.9% in 2021 and 4.9% in the 2022. 0.1 percent point lower for 2021 than in the July forecast. The downward revision for 2021 reflects a downgrade for advanced economies, in part due to supply disruptions and for low-income developing countries, largely due to worsening pandemic dynamics. African Continental Free Trade Area provides us an opportunity to further consolidate the resilience and should catalyze our recovery from the impact of COVID-19. The free trade area market is timely to the current industrialization drive for our country. These products that we are talking about trade must be of value. We have to add value to these products to be able to have meaningful trade. That's why industrialization is very key. As you may all appreciate, the manufacturing sector is currently dominated by small and medium enterprises that account for over 90% of the enterprises and generates over 80% of the manufactured output. Uganda's manufacturing exports as a percentage of total exports stood at 22.5% in 2018-19 against a 30-year vision target of 50%. If we position ourselves well, the African free trade area will play a great contribution in enabling us to achieve the vision. For this trade area to positively impact Uganda's economic development, key critical success factors for Uganda to focus on will include the following. To develop a free trade area implementation strategy that highlights national development direction in terms of market access enhancement in the wider market. The strategy will entail how to develop and support the private sector to take advantage of opportunities from this market. Addressing issues of taxation, addressing issues of doing business. Some of them have touched on, for example, electricity. And we have committed ourselves to you, the private sector, that we are going to reduce the tariff to 5%. And we are committed to this, 5 cents only. And the president has directed the Minister of Energy to make sure that this happens in the next 6 months by channeling some of the electricity power directed to the industrial parks and your areas.
The way we have seen Uganda, we are well positioned in terms of the types of products that we have that are not in other countries. Sometimes you find, I don't want to be on record saying that other countries get our products and repackage them. We are one of the best countries in terms of production, and other countries are copying from us. So we have things that are branding us as the Pearl of Africa, and there are things that are branding our country as giving us a symbol, as our symbol of identity, that are not in other countries. You heard about the best pineapple, the best fruits, the sweetest fruits in Africa come from Uganda. The best quality of coffee with the best aroma comes from Uganda. The best cocoa with the best chocolate comes from Uganda. And the best honey, I would say, organic, comes from Uganda, and many others. The flowers that are in the US, flowers that are outside the country, that people are enjoying, the freshness, come from Uganda. But of course, we cannot claim this if we don't brand them and package them and brand them into our own branding. So this is what we are looking at. We thank the UN government. We thank the UNDP, which has given us up to $2 million as in terms of building our capacity, in terms of packaging and the other sectors that we're going to earn to give priority. And we are saying this money should be put to proper use because of the types of corruption that are in Uganda. We are going to open our eyes at the political wing of our ministry and other areas to make sure that this money is put to proper use. All the countries in Africa have come on board apart from Eritrea. And of course, they are also working across board to make sure that they are also joined. We don't know the reasons why they are not joining very fast, but all countries in Africa are on board.
The Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives is in collaboration with other entities in the executive arm of government, legislature and judiciary, as well as the private sector, already doing preliminary work to fast-track the national implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. However, a lot more needs to be done. We must work together to overcome the following bottlenecks. First, trade policy and institutional weaknesses and gaps. Uganda will need to strengthen the institutional, human capital and compliance capacity to implement AfCFTA effectively and benefit fully. Even if Uganda fully implements and complies with AfCFTA agreement, the objectives of the African Continental Free Trade Area can only be achieved if a conducive environment and complementary policy measures such as skill training for youth, de-risking, investment funding support, integrated industry, trade and fiscal policies are put in place to facilitate trade and investment. Furthermore, although the AfCFTA can address many important demand-side constraints to trade, particularly those linked to market size, supply-side constraints must also be addressed. The supply-side constraints that need urgent attention include mobilizing producers for bulking, value addition, and standards certification, amongst others. The other thing I wanted to touch on very quickly is on the special economic zones and industrial parks. Attracting productive investment continues to be an essential one for Uganda's economic growth and job creation. Economic activity continues to be concentrated in low value-added agricultural production, non-tradable services, and manufacturing activities such as construction. All this offer only a limited scope for new employment and market opportunities. Therefore, the development of industrial parks and free zones offer an opportunity for government of Uganda to target resources towards tackling these key challenges in a way that is less financially and politically demanding than wide-scale reforms. Fourth, we need to tackle the challenge of regional transport and logistics. There is need to promote trade facilitation and efficient logistics to support the movement of goods and services between producers and consumers. Efficient border management and clearance processes alongside logistics infrastructure and services will make supply chains more effective and reduce overall trading costs.
We will now take a very short commercial break. Manan Markets will continue after this break.